Welcome back, everyone. This is Hutch from Hutch High Perf, and as you see, I've been painting parts. That's what I was going to do. Let's look at the heads real quick. So what I decided to do was put some rubber hose on the inside. Let me get this out. Put rubber hose to block off where the plug is going. I learned this from Half Rod. If you've ever seen his channel, Half Rods, he was talking about if you paint the entire head in this area as well, when you go to run your bolt down, you can chip and flake the paint around there. So he said he takes a nickel and puts it over the opening. And that gives you the spot where the bolt goes and doesn't affect the paint. So we're going to see how that looks. Anyway, so I've got everything painted, and I found something online concerning this oil pan. So this is a Moroso 7 quart pan, and there's a baffle on the inside. Let's get this thing turned over where you can see. So you can see this baffle, and it's welded like with tabs on the metal, and it's welded to the side, and it's welded up in the front, and it looks like there's some type of spot weld or contact weld in the center. So take a look at this. Apparently these baffles break, and it's not just a one-time thing. There's been a couple people that have talked about it. So I've got this one, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. So either I'm going to lay down some more weld to hold it in, which is going to burn up the paint probably on the other side, so I'm going to have to sand and paint it again, or I'm just going to cut it out, because I don't know if you can see this. So let me turn this around. These pans, most of these pans, when they start life, these are stock, like 5 quart pans, and they cut the bottom out of them, and then they weld on the addition to make it a 7 quart pan. So the stock pan didn't have this baffle, and basically, if you don't know what it is, the oil sump is down in here, and when you brake hard, the oil tends to want to rush to the front of the pan, and you could actually rush oil away from your pickup, and you could starve the engine of oil for a little bit. So this baffle is here, so when you brake, this baffle stops a lot of the oil from gushing forward, and it kind of traps it down in the sump area. Anyway, the stock pans never had that, and I was thinking I'll just cut it out. I'll just cut it out completely, and then that way I won't have to worry about it breaking off and falling, possibly hitting the screen or the pickup, and then starving it for oil anyway. But then I thought, I can probably weld that. I could probably weld it better to the pan in more spots, because I think right from here all the way around and all the way around to the other side, I'm pretty sure there's enough room there that I could lay down a good weld. And then what I might do, because it looks like, if you saw the pictures, it cracks right where the welds are, and in the back, like right where this sharp turn is, it looks like the crack creeps over that way to the other side. So I was thinking, if I put something in here to bolster up this corner, like another, because this is all 18 gauge. If I put in another piece of 18 gauge and then bring it over the side and then weld it to the wall here, and then like rosette weld it to this, it would give it some strength and hold it in place. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Well, there it is. Welded the whole perimeter. I'm going to go back and clean up the welds just so, because I'm not exactly the best welder. Comment on that if you want. But yeah, so I'm going to go back and just grind down some of the tops, make sure I don't pop off any BBs or anything into the inside of this. Definitely got some penetration, that's for sure. Yeah, so there goes my paint job. I guess I'm going to have to do that all over again. And then I'll have to check it just to make sure I didn't have a burn through at some point or popped through the metal, just to make sure that I don't have any leaks. But anyway, let me get this thing cleaned up and then we'll come back and take a look. Well, there it is. All I did was clean it up a bit just to make it a little bit more presentable. Really what I wanted to do, there was a couple of spots in here where I got like a little bit high on the weld. Like I stopped for too long in one spot and I got like almost like a BB on it. So I just wanted to make sure nothing was going to break loose. So I just sanded everything down. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to get the tops off of it and make sure that nothing pops off later on and goes inside my pan. And on the back side, I just wiped down the areas and sanded it up a bit. I'm not even going to try to hide it, leaving the scars. Chicks dig scars, right? So, all right, I'm just going to make sure that the surface is clean. I'm just going to repaint it just like it is. It's on the bottom of the car. Unless I hit you and run you over, you're never going to see it. So, leave it the way it is. Oh, you already know how I feel about tarps. I'm not going to get into that again. So I took it out to the parts cleaner and I filled the entire thing up. I could not find a leak anywhere, which is good. So I'm just going to wipe this down and I'm going to throw a light coat on the whole thing and get this part right here covered up well. Get this covered. I guess that's a better way of saying it. Get the weld part here covered. Once that's good and covered, then light coat over the whole thing to even it out, and it should be fine. Right? Right. Actually, the rest of it looks in pretty decent shape. Light's better than heavy. Well, I think I've got adequate coverage of the paint that I burned off. So now I'm just going to give it one nice, good medium coat over the entire thing now. we go. Nice medium wet coat. It flowed out well, so I think we're done. Well, that's it for this one. Painted, welded. I like that. So if it breaks now, you can't say that I didn't try, right? So this is what I've been talking about. I kind of explained this a little bit at the beginning, but this is why you need to be into some communities online, because there's a wealth of information out there, and I would have never known about this had it not been for Fleming 442. OG Fleming 442 on Instagram. You want to go look at him. He has a beautiful 442. You should see that thing. It's lovely. So the story kind of went something like this. I posted online, and I think I put it on Instagram too, about the oil pump and putting on the pickup screen, and how that screen was compatible with the Moroso pan. They're both made by the same place, and I was going through the measurement and all that stuff, right? So when I put the pictures of putting the screen onto the pump on Instagram, Fleming made a note underneath. He's like, hey, those baffles break in those pans. You know that. I'm like, what? No. No, I didn't. I thought I had heard about something a while ago, but it had completely left my mind. So I did some digging, and apparently it was a thing. And I would have never known this if I wasn't connected to some of these communities, and it saved me from some possible heartache. The reason that he knew was because, what was this, back in late 2020, I want to say, a couple of the valves in his 455 decided to shake hands with the pistons, which is never a good thing. So he tore down the engine to see how bad the damage was. It wasn't too bad. Everything's back together, and he's up and running. But when he took the pan off, the baffle was just laying in the bottom of the pan. It had stress cracked in all four corners where the welds were, and the whole thing was just loose, the entire thing. So once I saw that, once I heard that from him, I'm like, okay, was this just a one-time thing? Did it have something to do with his engine going south, or was it something else? So I started looking online. I looked on Real Olds Power, G-Body Forum. I went to Summit, because I didn't buy the pan through Summit. I've had this pan for a while. I think I bought it through like eBay or something from some guy that had it that was new and never used. Even on Summit, I looked up the part number for that pan, and then if you scroll down far enough, you can see like people leave comments about the product. And one guy was like, "Hey, this thing is crap. I had it on my car for 6 months, and I had to take it back apart for something, and it was stress cracked on all four corners. It was almost about to break off." So I saw that comment. I saw a couple other people had the same thing. So I was like, man. So either I'm going to cut it off and not use it, because like I said, the original pans didn't have that on it, and all this is an original pan with a deeper sump welded on it. Or I can try to weld the whole thing up. And I was going to do some tabs in the corners, like maybe to strengthen it up. And I was like, you know what? There's enough. The gap isn't but like a small amount. And I just, you saw how I did it. I just stitched the whole thing up. So I'm hoping that holds. We're going to see. If it breaks, can't say I didn't try. Anyway, that's it for now. This is Hutch from Hutch High Perf. Do all the things. I've been talking about this, but do it. It really helps. Go on, click subscribe, like, leave a comment, click the notification bell, go to the t-shirt shop. You find something you like, money goes back into the project. I could use every dime I can spare for all this work. So really appreciate you guys being here, dig in the comments, so keep that going. Anyway, that's all I got. So this is Hutch. See you later.